What's up, everyone? Ben with the BTC Sessions here, and this is your daily session.
Hodl that Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, a couple quick things. Of course, do check out my website, btcsessions.ca. This is where you can reach out to me personally and book your own BTC session. I offer things like wallet setup for your desktop or your mobile if you're looking for that, or if you're looking to learn about hardware wallets and proper security, how to set them up, how to use them, or if you're just looking for a general education session, you can do all that here. All you need to do is go down to the bottom. There's a contact form for you there. Secondly, big shout out to sponsors of the show, Ledn.io. This is where you can use your Bitcoin as collateral to get a Canadian or US dollar loan. Really simple. On the site here, there's a slider. If you want a specific dollar amount, it'll let you know the amount of Bitcoin required. The application takes a couple minutes and there is no credit check involved. So if you're looking to get your hands on dollars and you would not like to sell your Bitcoin to do so, this could be an option for you. And with that, we're going to dive into the news, which is clearly we're going to be talking about the price a little bit here, because yesterday on Sunday we had this explosion of price action, and Bitcoin had been kind of bumping up against that 8,200 level of resistance that we've had for quite some time now, and by quite some time I mean like a couple of weeks. This is Bitcoin after all. Anyways, we blew past that, and now we're sitting, we went up as high as 89.38 at one point, so that was a 13% rise. We're now down a little bit. We're in the 8,700, 8,800 range. I'm sure by the time this airs, it'll be totally different, but at the time of recording this, I'm looking at 88.05 on Bitstamp. But yeah, so we're kind of hanging around this price range. So what's happening? Where could we be going from here? Well, it kind of looks like there's a couple major resistance levels to note. One of which is that 9,000 kind of just psychological level. But a lot of people don't seem to think that's going to be a huge issue to bump past in the next little bit here. The next major resistance, shown on this chart here by Crypto Fibonacci on Twitter, would be around the $9,600 range. And that goes way back to about a year ago. So yeah, so could we be visiting that level sometime soon? Quite possibly, if we follow on this trajectory. It doesn't look like there's much in the ways of resistance in between that level. Now, if we hit that level and we go past it, then of course there's that $10,000 psychological resistance level, and that could be something huge to bump up against. And then beyond that, you're looking into kind of that $12,000 range, where that really starts to be another major level, dating way back to early 2018, kind of like before March, so into February there. So could we see that again? I don't know. Let's deal with 9K first. But yeah, it does not seem like there's a ton of resistance between us and around $9,600. So we will see. So as far as that goes, there's not too much else to be said, really. I mean, the market cap obviously explodes, so the entire crypto market is up by about $25 billion in just a few hours. Yeah, you see some of the alts heading up now. Now, as far as what's currently going on with the alts, just we can take a quick look in comparison. Now, I like this website, masari.io/onchainfx, because you can see the US dollar, but you can also see versus Bitcoin. So you can see, versus Bitcoin, Ethereum's still down 2%, XRP is up 1.3, Bitcoin Cash is down 2. So it's kind of a mixed bag across the board. You have some that have made gains and some that haven't. It's really just luck of the draw. But Yeah, you can. I mean, Bitcoin alone, the last 24 hours, it's still, yeah, tracking about 9% up. You see some crazy stuff like 21% on EOS. You see, and the further down, the crazier you can see, like 30% on some of these. You see some other stuff down. But again, I'm not super interested. I'm more interested in gains like this, where Bitcoin has a really good day where you see that 9% gain. And remember what happens a lot of the time when Bitcoin takes a dip of a few percent. What happens to altcoins? That's like 15% in some cases, like doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling the losses of Bitcoin. And it's a lot, it can be difficult to recoup that, particularly in an extended bear market like we saw in 2018. Those losses, when you compound them over and over again, are devastating. Whereas Bitcoin, the losses, because it has a larger market cap, the losses, while substantial, if you freak out and sell the bottom, at least you're not compounding that by being in on an alt that is down like 95% versus Bitcoin. So anyways, that's kind of my thoughts there. I'm going to jump off price for a little bit, but I mean, it's always a good day when something like this happens to Bitcoin. I'm excited to see what the rest of the week looks like. Now, this is an interesting little article that came out just the other day. So this is regarding paper wallets. Now, I've talked about paper wallets before. Not always the safest way, but there are safer ways to do it. So essentially, a paper wallet is literally what it sounds like. It's a piece of paper, and on it you have a public key or a public address where you can send Bitcoin to. And then you also have a scannable QR code that is the private key that allows you to sweep money or funds off of the piece of paper. And essentially what happened here is there's an analysis of a paper wallet site called walletgenerator.net. Now this one has been around for a little while, but essentially what they would do, My Crypto, they would go to the website and they would say, we want to generate 1,000 unique wallet addresses, and we're going to generate and create 1,000 paper keys. Well, when they did that, normally, as expected, they would get 1,000 unique wallets. Well, in a period between May 18th and May 23rd of this year, well, they would go there and at random times during the day, in 1,000 made wallets, they would only get 120 unique private keys, meaning that there were duplicates, meaning that more than one person, had they generated wallet addresses during that time, could have had the same private keys. And essentially you could have an instance where maybe unknowingly two people have the same key, somebody loads up funds to that wallet, and the other person sees it and sweeps those funds away. Now, was this malicious or accidental? There's no real telling. And is the problem ongoing? Not right now, but you could probably safely say that it's not worth it to go to that website and generate your private, your paper wallets anymore, because that's a big deal. That's scary, where multiple people could have the same keys. And they're saying, if you've used this website, best thing to do right now is get that wallet and get your money off of that. In fact, at any point, it's probably a good idea to just get your money off of that paper wallet, because you don't know. You have no idea if this was happening earlier on. No real way to tell, essentially. Now, one of the things here is that there's open source code, which is available on their GitHub. Well, the code on the website and the GitHub were the same up until around August 17th of 2018. The online code stopped matching what was on the GitHub and became different. Well, that's where things get scary, because the GitHub, is being regularly audited, and people know what that is. But when the code on the GitHub differs from what's actually being executed on the site, that's an issue. So yeah, long and the short of it, just don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone. Be as paranoid as possible, because that's what crypto's all about. Don't trust, verify. And if you can't verify it yourself, then get multiple sets of eyeballs on something like this. So shout out to My Crypto for being one of those people that are doing the verifying for those that can't. Now, I wanted to touch on something. Now, I made a joke tweet about it, but essentially on my Twitter, I've been seeing a lot of stuff, and I mean, it's not new, but as of late, I've been seeing it more and more on my Twitter feed, where there's this kind of like butting of heads, where you have on one side people that are saying, we should be more inclusive of new people coming to the space. We should try and get people from different walks of life to join in and be part of the Bitcoin community and contribute. And you have other people that are currently in Bitcoin that are saying, we don't need this. We just need good ideas. We don't care who the people are. Just bring forth your best ideas. And if they're great ideas, they'll be incorporated. And it's turned into this very adversarial, like, hey, we should include more of these types of people. And then, why are you saying that? We're getting into social justice warrior kind of realm here, and we don't need to work on including specific people. We just need to demand the best ideas from the best people that can provide it. And I kind of look at this as Bitcoin itself has kind of taken on its own. It's its own beast. It doesn't give a shit what anybody is saying about anything. That includes the people that are saying we need to include people, and that includes the people saying that that's stupid and we don't need to do anything about it. Bitcoin itself just steamrolls through all of that and doesn't care. What people argue about outside of the Bitcoin code does not matter, and really it has no bearing. My take on it essentially is, do you want to do something that involves Bitcoin? Do you want to build something or create a service or contribute to the code? Then do that. If somebody's being harsh and giving you criticism and you don't like it and you don't want to take the feedback, then don't, and keep building whatever you're building. And if it's a good idea and people decide that they like it, then they'll use it. If you want to take that criticism, and even if it comes off as abrasive, you want to try and see through that and find the tidbits of information that can help you build a better service or product or line of code or whatever you're doing, then do that too. Either way, it doesn't really fucking matter. You can be here or you cannot. You can, if you find people in their criticisms of you to be rude, if somebody's a dickhead and you don't appreciate the way they're talking to you, then sure, mute them, block them, whatever. That's, most social sites, Twitter included, have that function available for you, and you're totally entitled to do so. But really, my stance here is do whatever you want, and if somebody finds value in it, they'll use it. And if somebody doesn't, they won't. And that's pretty much that. It's kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of funny arguments that I find are, at the end of the day, are going to be inconsequential because Bitcoin will keep chugging along. And so it's kind of on each individual to decide what they're going to do with that. Do you want to be the person that is welcoming and brings people in, regardless of quality of the idea? Maybe in doing that, you could give constructive criticism and funnel them into something that you think may be more helpful to the community? Or would you rather just say, like, no, that's just not a good idea. I think it's dumb. I don't think that's what we need. And I understand how some people who've been around for a long time can get jaded. I get jaded plenty. I mean, my Twitter feed, I will say, Twitter is not really real life. I mean, you're looking at this replaying GIF of indecipherable screeching. Yes, Twitter is not real life. In person, I find it's easier to have a regular conversation, but to sum up thoughts and in-depth technology, like to sum up what's happening in Bitcoin in 240 characters is not ideal. And so I think people need to realize that, and how people talk to you on Twitter is inconsequential to what gets done in Bitcoin, is inconsequential to what ends up rolling out in the real world. So yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this. It's my observations and me just kind of word vomiting out what I see happening. Anyways, I'm going to move on, and I just want to touch on a couple things that are really interesting to me lately. So I've been playing around with the Coldcard wallet. So this is a Bitcoin only way of securely storing your Bitcoin, right? It's a hardware wallet. And so Rodolfo Novak from OpenDime and Coldcard sent this to me. Actually, this is number 2. So this will be the device that I make my video using, because I'm going to set it up from scratch. This thing is fucking awesome. So Rodolfo, shout out to you. Coldcard kicks ass. I really, really enjoy it. This is the Mark II model. Yes, the new Mark II version. I would say get this one. I like the buttons. They're clicky and they're more effective than the old model. So yeah, grab this one if you're getting a new one. If you have the old one, then hopefully it works just fine for you too. But yeah, I do like this. I've been playing around with it using Electrum wallet for desktop, and I also hear that it works well with Wasabi wallet. Not for the mixing, because just inherent to the way that CoinJoin works. The wallet itself has to have access to signing capabilities to approve spending and everything like that. And with the way that a hardware wallet works, you need to manually approve it, and that's not how Wasabi works. So anyways, what I wanted to say is I'm really diving into trying to be super secure with my Bitcoin, trying to be super secure in terms of how it's stored and my privacy. And so I've dove into things like Wasabi. I've started regularly using a VPN, so I use NordVPN. If you want more information about Nord, I have a little blurb about it on my website. When you go to the products, that's where I put things that I use, like Ledn and Ledger and Nord, and really anything that I happen to find that's useful. Obviously, there's only a few things there right now. I'll probably fill out that section a little bit more over time. But yeah, I really want to start getting back to creating instructional videos as often as I can. They are much more time intensive than doing the news stuff, but I feel it's important. And I've got to say that playing around with Coldcard, playing around with Wasabi, using a VPN regularly, and starting to dive into this stuff, it has rekindled my desire to make more educational content in the ways of how-tos. Because in using something like this, I recapture that excitement of, oh, this is a big deal. This is why this works. This is why this is better. And I really like, in particular, that there's a little SD slot on this, and allows you to do something called air-gapped transactions, where essentially you set up the wallet without ever attaching it to anything that's connected to the internet, and you can actually set up a transaction on your computer, put that transaction partially signed on an SD card, plunk it into this, still not connected to the internet, approve the transaction using this so that it would be impossible to send more than you've just approved. So essentially the rest of your funds are entirely safe, and the only credentials that you've essentially signed off on is sending the one transaction you've approved. Take out the SD card, you put it back in your computer, and that's what sends off the transaction. So your private keys never leave this, and this is never connected to the internet at all. So it's just that extra level of security on your Bitcoin. And I mean, I'm not holding anything else as far as, you know, other cryptos go. So this is what I'm interested in, is long-term secure storage. And yeah, I'm very excited about this. I've been playing around with it for a while. I decided it was best to use it for a while before creating the video. So I'm gonna need to dedicate a full day to putting that together. But really cool. Again, Nord is something I use regularly now. On my phone, on my desktop. I think it's just really cool in that it essentially takes your IP address that ties your computer and your internet to a physical location, and it spoofs that location to somewhere else. You can even set a separate country. So sometimes, let's say I'm in Canada, if I want to see content that is locked specifically to within the US, I can just switch the VPN to a US VPN. Or rather just do the drop down and select that I want to look like I'm in the US. Well, now all of a sudden that content is unlocked for me. So, and you can do that from anywhere on the globe. So really cool stuff there. And Wasabi, I've just got to say, making Bitcoin fungible and making, like, destroying those links between you and your coins is invaluable. Mostly from a security standpoint, because you don't want people to easily know how many coins you have, because people can find you at your home or wherever you are traveling or whatever, and essentially $5 wrench attack you and say, send me all your coins, and you have no recourse if they know exactly how much you hold. And so just for peace of mind, being able to kind of obfuscate that, I think is very important. And even people that don't hold what they consider to be a lot of Bitcoin right now, you should get in the practice of keeping that number, whatever it may be, obfuscated so that others can't later on down the line, if Bitcoin is worth a lot more, know how much you're holding. So that's my rant for the day. I'm going to sign off there. I know the second half of the video was a little bit more of a ramble there, but I just wanted to kind of brain dump some of the stuff that I've been excited and interested about lately. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Again, feel free to hit up my website and book a session. Feel free to hit up the sponsor, Ledn.io, if you're looking for a Bitcoin-backed loan. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit like, smash that bell notification icon, because I'm always in the chat when this airs for the first time and we all get to chat with each other. Hit up my Telegram. I just started a Telegram channel. There's about 100 people in there already, so thanks for all of you that already joined, but I will link to that in the show notes down below. And I'm in there all day, every day, just kind of popping in and out, saying hey, and I also post the video when it's about to go live in there. And yeah, lots of fun people in there. So join me on Telegram if you please. And of course, if you really like what you saw, you can drop me a Bitcoin tip via Lightning Network at my tippin.me. I'll link a video for how to do that if you don't know how. And I'm signing off, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for your daily session.